the computer. Good morning, Takeshi-san.
Good morning. Good morning, Ali.
Yeah, it's so nice to join you on a Sunday morning. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. Let me do a little quick introduction, right? So I have known you for, gosh, how many years now? 9 years almost,
Yeah,
huh?
maybe 9 years. Yeah, in San
Oh,
Diego
Lord.
office.
Yeah.
Old San Diego office.
Oh my goodness. It's
Yeah.
yeah, crazy how time flies. But you were the kind of person that I think when I first met you, your team was growing at the beginning time, right? And that's how I knew you. Like pretty much all the senior broker came in was like because of you in LA, you know. So you were always very impressive. And then you were a real estate investor. So I was like, gosh, it's interesting the kind of person you are and the kind of business we have and brought in different, culture and different people. So from then I saw, your business grow and then maybe, like all of us, business maybe go down a little bit and then, business grow tremendously recently, right? So I wanted to do this interview because one, I think you are really a good representation of a culture that works really hard, and also that just your mentality in business is very impressive, right? So I wanted to be able to provide a perspective as an entrepreneur, you know, to help other people who may want to take this journey and to see what they experience, but more importantly, the true journey. I think a lot of times we go to TikTok, you hear all the glamour stories, right? I was recently listening to one of this guy. He says, he owns this place where he built a fake airplane, first class airplane, right? And all the TikTokers come in and use his place, and he made a lot of money because TikToker will go and pretend they're sitting, right? And I know you well, and I know you're none of that, right? That's why I really wanted to bring you on and then to interview your mindset and everything. So with that said, the first question I have is just a little bit of introduction, right? So like, I know you're Japanese, right? You have a very strong Japanese team, but were you always entrepreneur minded person before?
No, not at all. Yeah. By the way, yeah, thank you, Ali, for yeah, invite me into this. It's yeah, glad to like talking, right? So I started in this journey, like not even this my WFG business, back in 2009, and back then I was not at all. Right. So I was, like just employee, right? Like pretty much in the bottom of the cog,
Mm-hmm.
in the company.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, I did, and also my profession is quality control, so I didn't have many opportunity to talk to anybody. So I was not really social. I was pretty shy, and yeah, so I didn't, right? But things just happen, and like I started to happen to read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm.
And that's the time when, that's also at the same time, I was kind of feel weird in my in my mind that I didn't, I was working hard, but, not making it, right? And, I was working, like good 11, 12 hours a day, but, like my peer is, from the same school, right? Making, 3 or 4 or 5 times more than I made at that
Mm.
time, and they are doing less work, right? And then, I had the, dissatisfaction. I started to have a dissatisfaction. I was okay, but I started to have a dissatisfaction. That's how I reached out to, I found that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's, I started to, my thinking a little bit changed, right? And then I started to go to the, different environment, like, real estate meeting, in investor meeting. That's the whole, it started to change my mindset. That's the start, beginning of starting my mindset.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on one second. So from what you said, sounds like, you were shy, quiet, not a typical people think a business person is, love talking to people, right? You're not that. And I appreciate that because I am that way too. I really don't go out there and talk to people. So I always think that, people who are in business need to be people person, like I think we're people person, but we're not like an extrovert, right? So it's interesting to see. So you really did not have influence in business. Nobody really, like started to show you, hey, let's do business, but you were more because unsatisfied with your job situation. Okay, that's interesting. So I think like traditional people, right, the real estate is the one thing that they always go to. So what would you say is a difference between like real estate? Why didn't you go continue on with the real estate route?
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good question, right? You know, it's actually not even because I like real estate that I started. The book is mainly talking about the real estate, right? So as you know, right, like Kiyosaki's book. So that's I only knew. So that's how I started to real estate. So it's not big in the beginning. I love real estate or anything like that. But like on the book, always in usually the book said that like how they gonna get the passive income.
Mm,
So that's how I studied to go to,
mm,
because I didn't know any better, right? So I started to go to the real estate meeting, right? That's how I started, right? And okay, so I been, so that was 2009, right? And then the 2000 until 2013, right? I was try to do, in the real estate investing, right? Because number one, that's all I knew, and also if I'm in, in the environment long enough, and kind of started to think like, oh, maybe real estate is the best,
mm,
right? But like in reality, it was not really, right? But so I've been working, but because of my work hour, right? So I have to work from 6:30 a.m. until a lot of time 8, 9, like it would sometimes go over midnight, right? Because of the
yes,
culture, Japanese working culture, right? So I did, like in order to do the real estate, really, in deep inside, you gotta have to be active, a little bit active during the day,
mm,
and I didn't have that time. Right, so like in the day, the weekend, but like weekends is not really enough, and also I didn't have much of the mentor,
mm,
right? So, always there's a real estate classes or real estate seminars, right? But once finished that, there is no more support in a way, back end support, right? So, I've been attending, me and my wife attending, attended the seminar, like it's a good, maybe 20, 30 seminars, right?
mm,
But after the seminar, still don't know exactly what to do,
yeah,
right? And then still, yeah, so that's the time when like things called the shiny object syndrome started to occur, right? So after 2 or 3 years, oh, maybe this is not for me, right? And then when I started to see other things, um it looks better. Always, something in the other side is greener, right? So I started, we started like blogging, internet marketing, other things, but it didn't work out,
mm,
right? And what I also found out is not only my time, but also, like um, if we yeah, if our mindset is not good, right? If our mindset is short term, or if we are doing so many things at the same time, we didn't get anywhere, right? And then later on, what I realized is like all the vehicle, it can be real estate, it can be blog or internet marketing, or all other avenue, right? Or all other vehicle can get to the same place. But if the path of driving it is not mature, we cannot use the vehicle. And then that's what I realized around 2013, right? Like I was reading the books. I was thinking like why I couldn't, like start it, why I couldn't get as much as I want to get, right? Yeah, I get the certain, properties and all those, but still, like this is someone else's effort. I know, like I was feeling like I was like always not in playing the game, right? I was always like, people around, people in the sideline,
mhm,
you know, the kind of feeling like even though I'm getting the properties because like a turnkey property and all those, right?
Yeah.
So I always feel that I'm not doing, and then yeah, so that's the time when my this business, right, WFG business actually
Mm,
came in. So like my friend, he's the senior partner, right? He said that why don't you come to take a look at this business? So that's how I started this business. Like I was, like um in the beginning, right, like, oh, there's great financial classes, great training, right? And then in the end, what I realized is different from other avenue, right?
mhm,
Like there is always a backend support. There's always training,
mhm.
right? If I wanted to, right? There's unlimited training. As long as this is as long as I want it, I want it, right? Like there is access to the training or mentorship. There is, like I have never seen that, right? And so I think I think that one of the things that the WFG is very good at is like ongoing mentorship, right?
Mhm.
Support and leadership, right? All the mentor that already have done, they actually teach us exactly what to do, and then as long as they we want it, right?
Yeah,
So I think that's I think one of the things that I like about this business, right? Because it's like yeah, because it will take time to build a mindset,
yeah.
right? Like the entrepreneur mindset or investor mindset or long-term mindset, because we are not built that way because of society.
Yeah, I really love what you just said. And I think
Mm,
it's so, so true. Sometimes it's hard to summarize the business, but I think people who've gone through what you've gone through and people I have gone through, which is, my husband does the Medicare on the side, right? And it's true, there's not much training. I mean, there are lots of trainings, but there's not holding hand mentorship.
mm.
And I think most of the people, because we come from not a business background, we really don't know what to do. So it's, always seems good because, you have the top earner sharing about their experience and then you think you can do it, but because it's not set up to do mentorship. I joke all the time with people who are in the Medicare, right? I said the problem is, let's say like human beings are very selfish, right? If I don't get anything from mentoring you, people don't mentor, So, but there are a few people who will go out of their way to mentor other people, but that's, there's not much incentive. But the WFG, the system is set up that way, is that people want to help each other, and I really think that's probably one of the major reason why a lot more people succeed in this business, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always tell my team, right?
Mm,
During the fast start,
mm,
right, that there's only two ways to get paid. Like let's say in the business, right? One is the traditional way, like let's say go to the seminar or let's get paid for the coaching, right? And then so usually how they set up is we have to pay the tuition first, right? So coach get paid first. Of course, they will do their best to coach them, coach the student and everything, right? But do they have a skin in the game after? No, they don't,
mhm.
right? Because they already get paid,
Yeah.
right? But I love about this business is like all the trainer and also the trainee, also the trainer has a skin in the game,
Yeah.
right? Because they gotta have, like the student have to be do better, right? That to get paid, that for them to get better as well. That for them to
Good.
succeed, that your
Mhm.
team member have to succeed,
Yeah.
right? So that is actually really good, right? And then I like I prefer the second one is because like that's totally win-win,
Yeah.
right? If yeah, because they will do maybe 100 hours or maybe even an year or 2 years to try to teach you,
Mhm.
right? As long as you want it,
Yeah.
right? Because if you become successful, they become successful also.
Mm. And it's kind of funny too, because you're talking about all the hours you used to work, I work for the corporate as well. So many hours we work and then we don't get paid, right? Because we're salaried. And I think about why our bosses are not mentors. I think most time our bosses get to where they are not because they know how to lead, right? They get to where they are, maybe just experience or, years in the business and years in that job and they get promoted. So it's more of a promotion by appointment, not promotion because they actually earn it sometimes,
Mm.
I don't know if the earning is the right word because they do earn where they are. Let's say I become, from a ground level, I become a manager, but they don't really have a um, mentorship, leadership skill, right? So, and then because of that, I think a lot of people are feeling like there's no support at work, even though there is a manager there. There's always a manager, right? Manager as a manager, but they don't really have that mentorship. And I think we have a setup in a way that it really helps. Because if you have a trouble, you just know someone you can go to share their experience. They don't even have to be your mentor. It could be your sideline, it could be the people that have been in business a while. And I really appreciate you mentioning that.
I think one of the things that I want to tell is, like a lot of, the new people or like, not only this business, right, but also new people that wants to, make things happen, right? Most people coming from the employee background. And then when they come in, right, and then they feel that, it's, this setting, right, this culture or this, like, mentorship model, all those, it's not common, right? And then they should know that, they should really know because, because a lot of people say that, oh, like, of course, like you are the trainer, you should help. But like it's in the real world, in the real business, not that way.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta have to pay, right? They gotta have to pay to the coach, right? They have to go to the seminar by paying themselves,
Yeah.
right? They gotta have to, in order to get the support system, they need to how they in the money have to come from them,
Yeah.
right? In this business, not that way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then a lot of people don't understand, when they coming into this business, that how good it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I knew, because I've been in the real estate or other things, and I paid,
Yep.
right? And then I appreciate how they do that, how this platform do that.
Yeah. I
It's really because yeah,
agree.
because but yeah, but if they come in, this is the first business. There are a lot of people don't understand this,
Yeah.
right? But this is actually the golden part, right? And then the food. So that's the reason why in this platform, right? A lot of business owners get attracted, right? Some of the CEO, right? In the previous company
Mhm.
actually coming into this business and blow things up
Yeah.
because they appreciate that environment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure the other CEO, they're coming from the other businesses, they invested a lot, maybe over 6 7 figure
Yeah.
into the business, right? But in this business, like of course, I'm not gonna say don't have to, right? But all the training, all the mentorship is pretty much in place, and then
Yeah.
I think this is something that like a new people or the person who's starting the business should really know,
Yeah.
right? Because this is rare.
Yeah.
Right? This is very rare, and then great, we should be feeling grateful
Right.
about this. Right? I just wanna add this.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So since you and I've been to a lot of seminars, what would you say is the cost of your previous real estate seminar? If you can sum up all the years you've gone to this real estate seminars, the investment you put into it, not even the time, right? Because it's hard to really say how much time, but how much money you think you invested in the real estate seminars.
Oh, like I'm the pretty low end one, like like it's but like I invested like even like a one coaching or sometimes not sometimes in the
Mhm.
beginning of my business, right? In the real estate, me and my wife was scammed, and maybe I paid
Mm,
$7 8,000 and then scammed pretty much,
mm,
right? So all those included probably 20 30 40,000 something,
mm.
maybe 30,000,
Okay, that's still a
total
lot.
investments. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now that you've been in business for, gosh, 10 years about, right? About
Yeah.
10 years. What would you say is your investment in this business, in the WFG
Um,
business?
in terms of money,
Just,
is it?
yeah, just the money. Without counting time.
Oh, okay. Um, like it's in the beginning, right? I was only pay for the licensing, right? Like maybe E&O, right? Which is yeah, E&O
Mhm.
mission, right? And also, in the beginning, we didn't have to pay for the office.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, pretty much paying for the office. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
also the going to the conventions, right? All those, it's probably, not even reaching 30,000, 40,000 a year. Yeah, probably we did. Yeah, because we are paying
Yeah.
7 years of the rent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But still compared to other businesses, I think it's much lower.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I stopped going to the seminar also, other outside seminar, because this convention or like elite circle, all those are so good
Mm-hmm.
that, so far I didn't see the need to go
Yeah.
anywhere else, right? Maybe I might, but yeah.
Yeah.
Figure wise, over 10 years, probably including rent and order, maybe 100,000. I don't know. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That's which is
yeah,
if you
but
divide by
yeah,
10 years, it's only 10,000,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's over like, now you're beginning to have office and things like that. So yeah,
yeah.
I think our cost is just so low compare. So it's really the time, right? It's the investing the time and then learning and putting the effort and stuff like that. So with that said, what would you say? Because I saw you up and down, right? And then you have the mentality working hard already before, right? So it's not a, I've seen TikTok people talking about, oh my gosh, work so hard. I want to stop working. You're not that kind of person. You're a hard worker. So what would you say is your mentality when you had the first encounter in the business that it really slowed you down, right? What was the thing that made you slow down? And then how did you overcome that?
Okay, so I think one of it's also, so I usually share. I'm not gonna share to new people, but
Mhm.
so one of I think that maybe setback in a way was after I became SMD,
Mm,
right? So senior marketing director, and I had a sizable team. It was yeah, like even after I gave the replacement leg,
mm,
right? So I had a Japanese team, not current, right?
mhm,
No,
mhm,
almost none of them are current,
mhm,
right? Yeah. Yeah. So I had people like it's still like maybe around 20 people, 20 agents, like I went to the Las Vegas
It's big, yeah.
conventions, all those, it's everything is all good until I became SMD,
Mm,
right? And I started to take in charge, right?
mm,
So, like I didn't know myself enough
yeah.
at that time.
Mm,
Right, I feel that like I was like being business around 2 to 3 years, and then became SMD. Oh, I will and then team was there. I may be pretty good at it, right? So that was completely wrong, really completely wrong, right, to me, right? And then after maybe 6 months, a year, people started to fall off, right? And then some of the people say, oh, because I don't want to deal with I don't want to deal with me, right? They didn't say to me. They actually talk to talk to other people, right? Other upline, my upline, right? My senior partner, right? They didn't tell me, right?
mhm,
And they left.
mhm,
And like at that time, right? I feel like, oh, how can they do this to me, right?
mhm, mhm,
That was my initial, thinking, right?
mm,
And with a little bit of the upset, right? And then, after a while, I've been, like in the businesses, and then go, I was down, after that, I came really down, right? Not only emotion, not actually not really emotion, but it's more like a business, right? And then, like I was, of course, as income and also, like production going down, and like a number of people going down, right? I was started to feel also down. I was very depressed in a way, right? And then I that at that time, what I realized was, oh, if I'm in that feeling, right, in that position, or if someone like me is saying, I was pretty, I'm not gonna say cocky, but I'm
mhm,
very straightforward at the
mhm,
time. And also, like something like, like I'm not gonna say that, straight like this, but why I can do it, you cannot do it, that kind of attitude, right? So if I was in that down, if the person like me is actually showing that kind of attitude or say that something like that, I will quit also. Right. So that was the really hit me like a brick.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, so I really and then all the people, right, that the 20 people was there. Oh, it's not because of my ability. It is not. It's not because of my ability. Maybe even 1% is not my ability, right? 99.9999% is because of the senior partner, right? And the mentor is actually holding the team.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's the time when I was very yeah, so then I started to build a team, right? But the rebuild the team, but I came down, but rebuild the team, I came down, right? It was it was 3-4 years was like that. And then I think that one of the moment where I really wanted to quit in this business was usually, right, before there is no Zoom, right? So after the BPM, there is a second meeting always, right? So each bishop gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then that time was I lost the second team. Right. So I was increased maybe 10 people, right? And then actually it's become me only.
Yeah.
Right. And at that time, I was so emotionally, how can I say, emotionally disturbed or emotionally sad that like, in deep inside, I know this person won't make it, right? Because of the mindset or because of the how can I say, because of the intention, right? Because they don't really want it, right? But still like I feel like when they came to the office, I'm happy, but deep inside I was I know that they're not gonna make it. I was that desperate, right? And I was that down, right? So during that time, right? So in the second meeting, right? Like let's say, like other, there's 3 other base shop there, right? And then all other base shop, they the 10 people, 15 people, 6 people, 7 people, like whatever, right? They actually came into the office and they are laughing and all those. And then I was alone in my office. I am not in my office, in the big room. At that time, I started to ask myself, if this was it, maybe I should quit. It's seriously, I was thinking about that. I've been, like in the, I was pretty, strong-minded, like it's, like because of the real estate, I was doing real estate, associated with like-minded people, right? All those, and like I had the pretty good why, right? Like, but during that time, I was, if, in spite of this mindset, but I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I should not, do this anymore. And I would seriously doubt that I ever be able to build the team at that time. Yeah, I completely lost my the confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's probably
that was what happened. Like maybe around 2019, 2018-ish, something. Yeah.
I remember those times. But what changed? Because I think that's what I appreciate about you, right? Because other people would have gone already quit. Why didn't you quit? And what happened that makes you rebuild, right? Have this thing again. So what changed?
Yeah. Like it's I think it's a lot of the times, something that I built up over the year. I think it's really help, right? So, like of course, even though at that time I didn't have a team, right? I had some months, so I'm gonna share that later, right? But also I learned through the process that I read the books and all those, right? Something happened for you, not to you, right? Or like this is all the things struggle is like a school. If we are calm and if we learn from it, and we can actually use that for our advantage in the future, right? So all those I didn't know in the beginning, right? When I started in 2009 or all those, right? And then when I listening to a lot of mentors or all the philosopher or all the business people, right, successful people, right, they are pretty much saying the same, right? So that's also it kind of going into the subconscious in a way. So I think this kept me going, right? And also I appreciate 3 group of the people, right? For the first group of people, the first person, right, is my spouse, right? So my spouse actually helping me really emotionally, right?
Mhm.
And then the second person is our mentor, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, my mentor,
Yeah.
right? At the time, I really, when I was down, right? Like usually, our mentor, like Michelle, she doesn't ask, me that, oh, let's go to dinner or let's go to lunch, right? But she did,
Mhm. I
right? And
remember.
then, yeah, and then, I get the, the mentorship, all those, right?
Mhm.
Of course, Julia too, right? But, at the time, right? They are actually really seeing, right?
Mhm.
What's going on, right? They really understand me,
Yeah.
right? This really appreciate that, really,
Mhm.
right? It's somebody, and at the same time, that's the time when a team member is come and go, but the
Mhm.
mentor is always for you,
Mm.
right? Always
Yep.
be with you.
Yeah.
I think that's the time I
Totally.
really learned that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the third person is the team member, right?
Mhm.
One of the person in the San Diego, actually, she
Mhm.
actually stayed,
Yeah.
right? Even though all the people left,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I don't know if she's like thinking that way or not, but this is really helped me emotionally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know her intention, but still, I appreciate that person,
Mhm. So
right?
good.
Because and then somewhat without three group of people, I couldn't keep going, right? And of course about learning about like a mindset and all those too.
Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
love that. I love that.
yeah.
That's why I think I really appreciate this real talk because that's what reality is. Business is not going to be glamorous every single day. It's not like rah rah every single day. In fact, just like life, there's a lot of challenges.
Mm.
But I feel like, maybe I want you to just a last thing, right? Um, like, do you feel, you just mentioned about everything happens for you, not to you. I think that's huge, right? So how does this happen for you? You feel like this challenges that we go through, right? And now you have a very big team and team's going strong, right? So what do you think you gain from that experience at that time to help you become who you are today?
Yeah, I think I learned so much from this process, right? Always that way, but during when happening, it was very painful, right? And then I don't want to get out so bad, right? But now I appreciate, right? Even when I was working in a Japanese company, right, and I started to do real estate or all those. At that time, I was oh, why my boss is so will require me to work so long, right? And they always aware me. I get so much stress, all those, but still appreciate.
Mm,
Because if not, then I am nowhere I'm today,
yeah,
right? And not because no, this is not gonna lead me to this way, right? If this event
that's
not gonna
right.
happen.
That's right.
So it's all good actually, right? It's all
Mm,
good, right? So one of the things that I learned in this
mm,
process is I have to, I have to be more, I'm not gonna say you gotta be sympathy with the other people,
yeah.
right? I really need to understand where they come from,
Mhm.
right, and how they feel if I do this, right? Because whatever we do, right, it can affect other people's feeling, right? Yeah. So I need to really think that, so that's I learn,
Mhm.
right? And especially in my team, like my group of people is all ladies, so I really need to learn about how lady thinks, right? So I've been learning every day. I'm still learning,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, but it's much better than around 2015, right, when I just became SMD,
Yeah.
right? And also maybe one of the things that I learned a lot is how to calm, like how to be how to be peace
Mm,
inside, like because I really started to study about peace or happiness
mm,
maybe around 2019 2020
mm,
ish. It's in the beginning, like in all me thinking that why how how to make as long as we need to make we can make money, or we need to learn how to do it, then it's not that it doesn't really matter, right? In the beginning that was I was only look at the tangible, right? But what's happened is actually those internal peace, all those, I think it's gonna be affect a lot, right? Because internal peace gonna if we are peaceful inside, then we can actually make the better decision.
Yeah.
Right. And then in especially, it's not like a job, right? In this business, we can, actually grow or scale the business, right, by training people, right? So each person is different, right? So each decision that the trainer or the leader make gonna affect the whole organization. Right. So by being peaceful or happy inside ourselves, we can make better decision. Right. And then if we can make a better judgment and a better decision, then we can actually we can scale the business better.
Yeah.
Right. Because because we can have a clear mind, right? And then we can actually so now I feel it's really internal peace is very important. So no matter what happened, right? I try to become myself, and then I try not to be distracted or like emotional. I try to be calm, right? And then making the sound judgment, right? Especially once we started to have a team, that skill is critical.
Yeah.
Right. So that's I've been working on, and I learned this process, from that, because I was not, I was very emotional, right? Around 2015, 2016. That's the reason why, every time that person didn't do well, they, I'm,
You.
showing very kind of, a unfriendly face, or, I'm not going to say it, right? You are not doing it, but, people can tell, because I was no peace inside.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I think that part is very huge, right? Especially, if we want to build a bigger organization.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Your everything you shared, it remind me of, our agency chairperson and Milet. One time, I think was the first, maybe the second convention, he said that this business will break you down and rebuild you a new one. And as a new person, I have no idea what he meant, right? Like literally, it's like over my head. What does that break you down mean? But I feel like you went to the breakdown process and rebuild a new Takashi. And I think I've gone through the same thing. And yeah, emotional roller coaster at the beginning to much more calm as a person. I think that's one of the rebuild process that's a benefit. Has it benefited you as a father? Has it benefited you as a husband, you feel like?
oh yeah, yeah. I'm still working on it, right? But differently, right? So now I started to, communicate. I communicate better with, my wife, right? Also, also the kids. But I'm still working on it, right? Because and I now, kind of started to think, I started to focus on my little bit more family. Right, because I was, I was working so busy, building the businesses, that, I didn't really, spend much time with my family. So I wanted to spend more on the family.
Yeah.
Right. And then, and definitely communication style, all those, it's much better. Even actually my wife, she actually learned a lot from the WFG. Right. So she actually, her work, she used that skill, right, to actually host a meeting, or, how, make the employee feel better, recognizing all those. Yeah, it's she learned all from WFG.
That's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I talk to you can go on, there's just so much I want to talk to you about, but we will stop this session for now, and then maybe we can resume another session for some different topic. But I feel like, you give new people or people who are going through challenges, doesn't matter which business, but I think especially in this kind of a business, like the how to overcome the challenges, how to think about the challenges. And I appreciate your time and your willingness to share with other people about your vulnerability, right? Because we all have it. We don't want to admit it, but it's not your culture to admit that, and so really appreciate you doing that. And that's one of the reasons why you become a big, because I think you are willing to be vulnerable, you're willing to learn. And I think from even like a long time ago, I remember learning just to hold someone's handbag. like you're now, as a Japanese person, right? Especially men, macho, right? You never had that culture. And I remember vividly at one of the restaurants in LA, you and holding, Michelle's handbag, right?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, so just little things I can see your transformation. And I think that's what made you a good leader now. And, somebody I really appreciate as even sideline, as a partner on the side, right? And you're encouraging me when I'm down. So it's really amazing. So I really appreciate you, and I hope that you continue your success. And then we will talk more about other stuff that's interesting on this journey.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Ali.
you. Sure, let me stop there.